Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Aladdin. Today I'm going to show you how to create 3D printed bolts and nuts directly inside Bambu Studio without using any external CAD software or outside tools. We're doing it completely within Bambu Studio. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our latest tips and tricks. In this video, we're not just going to stop at the basics. I'm actually going to show you several different types of bolts and nuts. Plus, we'll dive into how clearance and tolerances affect your final print. By the end of the video, we'll figure out exactly which tolerance settings you need to use to get the perfect fit every single time. Marba, let's keep it rolling. Here's the translation for the start of your step-by-step tutorial. All right, let's get started. First things first, we're going to add a primitive shape. Let's go ahead and select a cylinder. For my example today, I'm going to make a 16mm bolt and nut, and I'll set the total length of the bolt to 20mm. Now that we've scaled it, we're going to use the Cut tool in Bambu Studio. Select the cylinder and either click on the Cut tool icon or just press the letter C on your keyboard. Next, we'll go ahead and add a connector. In the settings right here, we're going to change the depth ratio to 10mm. Now here's a really important trick to make sure the threads are perfectly centered. You absolutely need to check the option for center of geometry or middle of geometry. Once that's selected, all we have to do is hit Perform Cut. And as you can see, here is the result. Aha! Wait, we actually skipped a really important part here. The tolerances. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to test out a few different tolerance settings. This way, we can see exactly how they turn out once the bolts and nuts are printed and figure out which one gives us the absolute best result. All right, so for the first test piece, I set both tolerances to 0. To keep track of everything, I'm going to add some text on each bolt to label its specific tolerance. This way, once they're all printed, we can easily look at them and find out which tolerance works best. Now I'm going to repeat the exact same process, but I'll change the tolerance and update the label on each bolt every time. To save some time, I'm going to speed up the video here. I've already done the 0mm tolerance, and now I'm going to add 4 more with tolerances ranging from 0.1mm up to 0.5mm respectively. All right, now we've reached the 5th bolt where we're going to set the tolerance to 0.5mm and add the text label. By the way, if you want to know all the different types of text you can add inside Bambu Studio, we already have a full detailed tutorial on our channel that you can check out right now. Now let's go ahead and slice the plate so we can see how the print looks and ultimately find out which tolerance is the perfect fit. As you can see right here, the print is going to take about 1 hour and 10 minutes and it will use 21.8 grams of filament. All right. Now that the printing is done, let's take a look at the results for our bolts and nuts. We'll start first with the 0.5mm tolerance. Honestly, I find this tolerance to be way too loose, and I wouldn't recommend using it because you're going to end up with too much clearance, which causes a lot of backlash, empty gap, between the threads. So let's move on to the second bolt. All right, this bolt has a 0.4mm tolerance, so let's test it out. Okay, it's definitely better than the 0.5mm one, but there is still too much clearance between the threads. So, okay, let's move on to the next one, which has a 0.3mm tolerance. Let's test it out. Okay, this is actually pretty smooth, definitely better than the previous ones, but I can still feel a bit of a gap between the screw threads. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is the 0.2mm tolerance. Let's test it out. Okay, I can really feel the improvement the smaller we make the tolerance. Let's move on to the 0.1 millimeter tolerance. Okay, let's test it. Wow, okay, it's really very good, this tolerance. I highly recommend you try this tolerance out. It is absolutely perfect. All right, now let's take a look at the 0 millimeter tolerance. Okay, I think it's best to never set the tolerance to 0. In fact, the bolt won't even go into the nut at all. So guys, as you can see, the best results came when we set our tolerance to 0.2 millimeters and also 0.1 millimeters. They are the perfect results. And with that, we've reached the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a like, and if you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments below. See you in the next video.